Warning! This video is supposed to waste your time because we all know that Arknights will most likely never get a part 2 of its collaboration with Limbus Company, but if you want to gaslight yourself, stay around!
Maybe this'll age like fine wine when Dante's Canto releases in 2035. Or whenever that happens. Okay, I know this sounds dumb from the title alone, but hear me out. I gotta cope with the way this story ended, because I have genuinely no reason to believe that our favorite and most worshipped Korean game director, Kim Ji-hoon, resorted to the same plot point he already used back in Canto 4. No, I genuinely just refuse to believe that the way the Arknights collaboration ended is actually accepted by everyone, and nobody has a problem with it. I always thought that the idea of memory removal in story writing is pointless, but I guess it made sense for it to happen in Canto 4 because of the circumstances. But this is just next level laziness to just say that the Arknights story isn't canon towards the main plotline. And that's really a shame because this story was written so well, where the world building was just merged into one another seamlessly without any major plot hole. With an amazing plot twist villain, this is one of the only collaborations in a gacha game that I think makes sense to even think about making. Both games rely on the player's strategy and decision making, although in completely different forms. Oh, wait, right, I was supposed to talk about how Arknights Part 2 could happen somewhere later down the game's lifespan. Okay, at the final point of the story, after you beat the disgusting amalgamation of the boss that is Mayer's the Yearning Float Sam, there are a few lines that could very well be implying that this isn't the last time we're going to see Dante and the group of 12 sinners dealing with the Arknights world and its ludicrous amounts of racism. Irene mentions that if we ever come back to this world, either out of our own volition or forced in, we shouldn't drop in Iberia. Which, I know that's a very normal thing to say to a group of outsiders that caused a little of a ruckus, but come on, am I seriously not going to think that what Irene said alone isn't going to imply that there is a possible second part of the collaboration coming? And that's not the only line that could imply that we could possibly see Dante and the sinners return back to the Arknights world. Remember what the doctor said back at the finale? Yeah. As normal as it may sound to tell somebody from a distant world that you hope that you can meet them again in the future, I think I have a good reason to gaslight myself into thinking that these words have some merit to them and aren't just a simple goodbye. The story from this collaboration could really be canon to the main storyline, and it probably wouldn't complicate anything if it was a one-off thing, since what this event implies is that the world building in Limbus Company isn't just the city and its multiple mirror worlds, but rather multiple universes that can be accessed through a dimensional door, which I think is really cool. Not many games with the archetype of a multiverse timeline have such good integration, maybe except Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart, but that's a whole nother genre, and that's the only good example that I have for a multiverse timeline. Back to the topic at hand, I don't necessarily think that I'm gaslighting myself here, but I could possibly be gaslighting myself with how much I want to just cope with the way the story ended. I don't think if the story would be integrated with the main plotline, it wouldn't complicate the lore too much if it's a one-off, or into the case of what this video is trying to imply, a two-instance occurrence. What am I hoping for? Let's be honest, this video is pointless as this was supposed to be a one-off collaboration with Hypergryph and Yoastar. Since Kim Ji-hoon is a longtime fan of Arknights, which I can't blame him, from the standpoint of a tower defense game, I feel it is unrivaled by many tower defense games either on Roblox, which is basically the first thing you think of when somebody mentions tower defense, or the small amount of tower defense games on Steam. Besides that, if you want to gaslight yourself and others to cope with the fact that the Arknights collaboration isn't getting a part 2, send somebody this video, and maybe, just maybe, in a few years' time, it may happen. But for now, glory to Project Moon, glory to Kim Ji-hoon, and glory to Arknights and its developers. Because this is what you call an ideal gacha game collaboration.